Namaste, everyone. Thank you for joining me in today's practice. This will be a tutorial. It will be more like a yoga lab where I try to break some of the poses that we're doing. I was once encountered by a student of mine, and they told me they haven't practiced yoga, or yoga is inhibiting their practice because of rotated shoulder cuff injury. And I was puzzled, and I thought, yoga is not violence. Yoga is not a rigorous exercise where you feel that you need to get injured. So I teach a very powerful and invigorating class. So I want us to visit the fundamental of yoga. So often at time in the yoga class, there is a downward dog, there is a cobra, there is an upward facing dog. So those three we will visit. If this is fundamental for you, you can skip this video. I have a 60-minute video. This is an addition to just bringing you something that you can benefit. All right, so let's break it down. Downward dog, you're going to encounter this plenty of time. So I will show this in a repetitive movement. That way you can see from different angles what are you doing. Because when I'm not with you in person, you're watching me on YouTube or a live video. So what is downward facing dog? The way I like to describe it is, if you think about a ceiling, there is a joint between the ceiling. You want your hip, your imaginary hip, to go to the ceiling. And your hands are on the floor. All right. So what not to do? Let's come into tabletop position. So as you see, I'm on a tabletop. I always like to say, are you able to place a cup of water on your lower back, or a cup of tea, or a cup of coffee? So from here, you're going to spread the fingers. The hands are shoulder width apart. So if I raise my hands up, I'm not bringing my hands this way. It's not shoulder. So you want to spread your hands. So if I place my hands on the mat, similarly, my legs, I want my legs to be hip distance apart. My hips is not this wide, right? You can see the exaggeration. So if I'm here, this is not downward dog, right? So my legs, in order for me to measure how much is my hip distance apart, I bring two fists, this is like a natural trick, and I place it in between my foot. This is my hip distance apart. I don't have that big of it. So if I come up and check, my hips are underneath my ankle. That makes sense. So we come back again into that tabletop. So from here, I like to spread my finger as if I'm pushing the mat away. And a good master of this pose is a dog. So and then I tilt my head towards my knee and I hit my thighs back. So when you look at me from the side, I look like an upside down V. So my knee is looking towards my neck. I roll my shoulders away from the ears because I have to push the mat away. Now, most mistake I see is people give me this type of a thing, this type of a thing. You cannot stay here for a long time, yeah? Or this type of a thing, yeah? So you want to start with a bent knee because often at time we have tight hamstring. You push the mat away, you hit those thighs back. So eventually the heels might come down. You have to be warm. You can keep a bent knee and continue to push your hands into the mat. Now from here, we're going to come and measure to make sure we're not collapsing on our lower back. This is where that cup of tea comes in handy. My hands are underneath my shoulder. My toes are underneath my ankle. My core is engaged. So once again, exhale. This is the exhale. You contract, knees bent, push the mat away, hit those thighs back, downward facing dog. Inhale, roll yourself forward into plank. Now we add the yogi push-up. The elbow is bent 90 degrees. You don't want to go beyond that. Elbow is hugging in. My back remains flat. My neck is long. Upward dog. Top of the legs on the mat. Thighs lengthens back, and I lift my chest. You can look forward. That way the back of the neck is not contracted. Of course, if you have more flexibility, you can start to go even more, to look towards the sky. Exhale, inhale, come back into plank. So notice my plank, again, straight arm, bend the knee, exhale, downward dog. Your heels can be off the mat. So from here, inhale, roll yourself forward into plank. Notice your breath. Lower your knee, chest and chin, and nothing wrong with this. Inhale, coming into cobra, a little bit more gentler on the lower back. Pointed toes and elbows still hugging it. The whole time my arms are shoulder width apart. Tuck toes under. Lift the knee, come into the knee. So this is how we transition to downward facing dog. And then start to push the mat away. Slow motion. Lift the knee, hit those thighs back. Downward dog. Roll yourself forward into plank. Find the length on the back body, because once you get in there, you want to draw those shoulders away from the ears. My arm still presses the mat away or the earth away. You're not going to win here. So you're more inclined to engage your core. Drop the knee, chest and chin. Just looking forward. Inhale, coming into your upward dog. If the chaturanga dandasana is a little bit challenging. So thighs are lifted. Notice my shoulder rolls down and my neck, a space between my neck to look right and left. Smile, come back into plank. You start to feel a little bit warmth. Press again, bend the knee, you push the mat away, spread your 5 fingers and look towards the knee, downward dog. Inhale, roll forward into plank. Elbow, hug the rib cage, you lean forward. Legs are active, core engaged. Neck is long. Upward dog. Thighs are off the mat. Hopefully you can see. Drop the knees on the mat and take a wide-legged child's pose. Slowly come up, come into seated. This can be plenty enough for you. So we did almost like 4 poses. You don't have to do an hour class, but it is preventing injury. So it's downward dog that we just did, plank, into knee, chest, and chin, cobra, elbow is bent, upward facing dog, elbow is straight, and gaze is soft, neck is long. At any point in time during yoga, I commend you not to push your body beyond your capability, your limitations. We are not trying to cause injury. So notice how I dropped into child's pose at the end of those sequences is to prevent any injury or listen to my body. Yeah? Yoga is about kindness, it's about compassion, it's about love. The yoga talks about ahimsa, which means non-violence. You practice that on the mat, off the mat, and everywhere. From me to you, namaste. Now, if you like this, what I call yoga lab or asana lab, give me a thumbs up, subscribe. Let me know what other poses you would like me to break down. I have tutorial on headstand, pincha marasana. I would like to hear from you. Namaste. Please like, share, and subscribe. Again, these are the 3 most popular poses you will see in most yoga classes. It's good to be familiar with the names, the Sanskrit name if you can, and any modification that you need to do. All right, from me to you, be well. Namaste. Thank you.